I want to welcome you to the Milk Coordinator Orientation, and thank you so much for joining us here today. As Milk Coordinators, we know that some of you have been coordinators for the program in your school for many years, so welcome back. For those of you who are new to the program and the role of Milk Coordinator, welcome. Just a couple of housekeeping notes for today. We are going to save questions till the end because there is, quite a bit of material to get through. So if you have questions as we're going through, please feel free to enter them into the Q&A. We will receive those questions and then I will make sure that I review them at the end and make sure that we've covered everything. Okay, so quick introduction of about who we are. My name is Sarah Cahill. I'm a registered dietitian and the project manager with Dairy Farmers of Canada. I have been working with the Manitoba Nutrition team for about 14 years now and coordinating the school milk program for 13 of those years. I have Justice Sinclair Brocky joining me here today. I'm just going to get her to turn her camera on as well, and then you guys can meet her. She's also on our nutrition programs team, and she's my project partner for Recycle Right with Milk. So Justice, would you like to tell everyone a little bit about yourself, your role with the program, and the work that you do here?
Hi, I'm Justice. I've been with the school milk program for about 5 years now, and I'm your first line of communication through our general inbox. I'm responsible for the regular communications that you guys receive. And I also prepare and send out all of your program materials every single year. And that's it.
Wonderful. Thanks, Justice. So yeah, Justice is a huge part of our program, and hopefully either one of us will have an opportunity to connect with all of you over the course of the year. We both spend our time working on various projects and programs as part of the Manitoba Nutrition team. So we know what it's like to have many responsibilities, as you do too. We really want to acknowledge the fact that schools have had a pretty rough couple of years. So we really like to thank you for, first of all, showing up today, as well as going above and beyond your role, whatever that may be at the school. And so you really and truly do make this program possible. So thank you. Okay, so the Manitoba School Nutrition Program has quite a long history and relationship with schools in the province. We've been in schools for over 35 years. Over the past couple of years, we completed a review of the existing program, and we also asked for feedback from participating schools. And based on what we heard, we decided to review our program model. So it has always been our goal to support the healthy habit of drinking milk in schools. We're also committed to supporting schools with existing initiatives, as well as we want to align with Dairy Farmers of Canada's commitment to reduce carbon footprint, which is really an extension of the efforts and commitments by our Canadian dairy farmers. If you'd like to learn more about Dairy Farmers of Canada and their sustainability goals, I definitely encourage you to check out the dairyfarmersofcanada.ca website. And so what we know is that drinking milk in schools means there will be empty cartons as a result. We heard from many schools that recycling is an important part of their school community. Naturally, we wanted to find out more about recycling, so we reached out to Recycle Everywhere, as well as the Carton Council of Canada. They are our community partners, as well as experts in this area. And so what we learned is that elementary schools in Manitoba use an average of 39,000 milk and juice cartons every year. Many beverage containers are recyclable. However, they are not recycled right, or if they are not recycled right, they actually end up in our landfills due to contamination. So we asked how we could help, and some of the topics that came up for further recycling education included identifying recyclable beverage containers in Manitoba specifically, preparing beverage containers for recycling, as well as emptying leftover liquids. So beverages are often discarded with leftover liquids because there's really nowhere to empty them. Providing a pour station or somewhere to empty those extra liquids or leftover liquids So providing a pour station can be really important to provide a spot for those leftover liquids to be emptied. And having those next to a recycling bin is very effective. And so, Recycle Right with Milk was created. Recycle Right with Milk encourages students working together to develop better recycling habits while supporting the healthy habit of drinking milk. We hope that this new program will benefit schools by providing a recycling solution as well as further recycling education that is currently happening in your school. The program offers opportunities for student leadership, responsibility, as well as kindness throughout the school. It's an inclusive program, so all students in the school can participate. And it also provides opportunities for hands-on experiences with numeracy, problem solving, as well as environmental awareness. And so the traditional school milk program is not available. This year is about piloting Recycle Right with Milk. This new pilot program moves away from milk reminders, which some of you may know as prizes, towards a deeper recycling education and promotion. And so because this program is a pilot, it means we're testing it out. So part of piloting a program means you have to collect data, which is why we will be asking you to track your school's efforts. This is a way for us to measure success. We'll also be touching base with you to get your feedback on the program. We'd also encourage you to be in touch if you have anything you'd like to share with us or if you have questions throughout the year. That's what Justice and I are here for. This year is really about learning what works, what doesn't work, as well as what we can improve upon. Ultimately, we want to evolve the program so it meets the needs of Manitoba schools like yours. And the only way we can do that is with your help, as well as your cooperation. So we really look forward to partnering with you on this pilot project. So I will really try to keep our time here brief today, but informative. Today we're going to be doing a review of what the milk coordinator responsibilities are, how to establish a MOO crew in your school. We're going to talk about communicating the program, as well as the classroom tasks, and finally celebrating success in your school. I'll be using a series of how-to videos that we've developed to help you, as well as others, learn how to run the program. I'll be also highlighting some of the important details along the way after we've viewed the videos. So as the milk coordinator, your leadership will be essential in ensuring a successful launch of the milk program in your school. So the first of our video series describes the role and responsibilities of the school's milk coordinator. This is essentially an overview of the program. And then after the video, I'll highlight some of those details and break down the process for you. The milk coordinator is responsible for Recycle Right with Milk in your school. Recycle Right with Milk encourages students working together to develop better recycling habits while supporting the healthy habit of drinking milk. Thank you for taking on the important role of school milk coordinator. As the milk coordinator, you are the school's contact person for Recycle Right with Milk. The coordinator is responsible for registering for the program and communicating with the program. Your role is to ensure milk is available and to establish and run Recycle Right with Milk at the school. But the milk coordinator does not have to do it alone. Recycle Right with Milk is a program for your school community, run by your school community. The MOO crew, students, and school staff will all contribute to the success of the program under the milk coordinator's leadership. Getting started. Before starting the program, the school milk coordinator will ensure milk is available for students and determine how milk will be ordered and handed out in your school. Introduce the program to teachers,
EAs, custodial staff, and anyone else in the school who may be involved using provided videos, handouts, and electronic resources. Promote your program by working with school's office administration staff to communicate with parents and let them know Milk and the program are available in your school. Visit recyclerightwithmilk.ca to access the shareable electronic parent information sheet. Determine what classrooms will use as a handheld bin to collect and deliver recyclable beverage containers to the recycling station. Distribute one recycling scorecard and dry eraser marker to each homeroom classroom. And establish a Moo Crew. This group of students can be student volunteers or students from a particular grade. Engage your Moo Crew. Host an orientation and use the online program videos to introduce the program and the role of the Moo Crew. As the Milk Coordinator, you will be responsible for providing the Moo Crew with leadership, support, and assistance as needed throughout the year. Tracking recycling efforts. The school's Moo Crew and students will be working together to count and track their recycling efforts. As the Milk Coordinator, you will collect and hang on to the weekly trackers submitted to you by the Moo Crew. At the end of the month, log into your school's portal and submit your school's recycling data to determine the school's milk carton recovery rate. The milk carton recovery rate is an indicator of how successful your school has been at recycling beverage containers. If your school reaches a monthly recovery rate of 80% or higher, celebrate this accomplishment. Celebrating success. The Milk Coordinator, together with school staff, can decide how your school will acknowledge its recycling efforts. Use the digital spin wheel as an exciting way to determine an eco-friendly activity to celebrate, as a school or in classrooms. Spin the wheel during a school assembly or as a class for students to watch and discover what fun activity they have earned through their recycling efforts. Your leadership as the School Milk Coordinator will ensure your school community develops the habit of recycling right while supporting the healthy habit of drinking milk. Let's work together to recycle right with milk.
Okay, so these videos are all available on our website under the Getting Started section. So if you ever want to refer back to these videos or help tell somebody else about the program and what's required, these are all there and available for you to refer back to. Okay, so what I wanted to do was review some of the key points that were covered in the video and just a little bit more detail. So basically just slow it down. Before starting the program, if you haven't already done so, of course, you'll need to arrange to have milk available in your school. This is a school responsibility and you can sort of arrange to do it whatever way works best for your school. Justice and I are here to help you if you have any questions about that. If you need any milk delivery service contacts, like emails, phone numbers, that kind of thing, we have those lists available on our website, but we're also happy to give them to you directly, so you can just reach out to us and we can forward those along. So in terms of your recycling station, that of course is a big part of Recycle Right with Milk. So setting up your recycling station is kind of the first step in getting it going. What you're going to want to do is find a central location within your school to put your recycling bin as well as your pour station. This is really where your Moo Crew will wait for classroom students to bring their recyclable beverage containers. We would recommend including one of the posters that we've included in your program kit very close to your recycling station, because it has basically the process on how to recycle right. So it's a cue for students as a reminder on how to recycle right. Another thing that I would recommend doing or having at your recycling station would be either a small table or a desk somewhere for your students to work off of. It would be helpful. It's not necessary. Something else which could be an option if having a small table or desk isn't available, even just a clipboard. So something for students on the MOOC crew to write on when they're filling out the weekly tracker. In terms of supervision, so your MOOC crew will likely need some supervision at the start while they're learning their role in the program. The idea is that hopefully with time, because they're a group of responsible students, that they will need minimal supervision because it's really the same routine and practice day after day. So they should hopefully, pick up on this and learn how to do it. In terms of maintenance of your recycling stations, so your bins and your pour stations, this will likely require the cooperation of your school custodian. So emptying the recycling bin would likely be like they would empty any other recycling bin in your school. The pour station is a little bit different and will likely be new to your custodian. So you'll need to communicate this with them, of course. The pour station will need to be emptied as well as rinsed on a daily basis following your lunch period. So this can be done by your custodian. If this is not an option, this could also be done by your MOOC crew volunteers, again, with some guidance on how to do it properly. Or if you'd like pairing an adult with a student volunteer to complete this task would certainly be an option as well. If you're concerned about mess around the recycling station, we get that. Hopefully there aren't too many leftover liquids that are going to be emptied into the pour station. And so hopefully the mess will be kept to a minimum. What I do recommend is basically just having something on hand for your MOOC crew to clean up any messes should they happen to happen. And really that's about it. There shouldn't be too much mess involved with your recycling station. Okay, and so your handheld bins. We mentioned this in the video, the handheld bins are not provided by the program, but I want to really clarify the fact that they don't have to be the same kind of bin for every classroom. We really want you to get creative and think about what's going to work best for your school as well as your classrooms. I wanted to provide some ideas just to get you guys started. First and foremost, you can reuse any kind of existing bin that you have in your school. So we know that you guys do a lot of transporting of materials back and forth. So there might already be bins there that you can use. I took a trip to the dollar store the other day just to see what kinds of bins that they do have available. So they do have some inexpensive options if you're needing to purchase some for your school. Another great option is that we receive a lot of parcels these days in the mail. In boxes. So if you have some medium to large size boxes, you can absolutely reuse those and use those as your handheld bin in the classrooms. Another option would be like a storage bin, kind of like a Rubbermaid bin or tub or that kind of thing could be useful. So there are a number of different ideas. What I would encourage you to do is work with your classroom teachers and come up with a solution that works well for them as well as the rest of your school. Share ideas. You might come up with a different idea than one of the ones that we've suggested here today. And so you may be wondering when it comes to tracking beverage containers, if you looked at the recycling scorecard that came in your Recycle Right with Milk program kit, you'll notice on the scorecard that we are collecting information for all beverage containers, not just milk containers. And the reason why we're doing this is really just because we believe in diverting waste from the landfill. And so that includes all beverage containers, not just milk cartons. And so the practice of recycling milk cartons correctly really applies to all beverage containers that would likely be used in your schools. So things like aluminum cans and plastic bottles, possibly glass bottles, and very likely drink boxes. And so for this reason, we really haven't singled out milk cartons because we want to teach students how to recycle all beverage containers correctly. And so, as we mentioned in the video, this program is for your school, and so it's run by your school. So it is a shared responsibility between yourself, the MOOC crew, as well as each classroom. And so the process starts in the classroom. I want to, mention that this program is designed for classroom or for students who eat lunch in their classrooms, but it certainly doesn't mean that it's limited to schools who have lunch that way. So if your school does have students that eat in a multi-purpose room together, it can still run very smoothly. It's just going to look a little bit different. So if they all eat in the same room, what you could do is have all students who sit together at the same table, or perhaps all students who are in a particular grade. You can group them together, and then they can use in their groups those recycling scorecards to count the beverage containers that have been consumed or handed in by that particular group. So it still works regardless of whether you're eating only in the classroom or in a multi-purpose room. So these recycling scorecards that I'm talking about should have come in your program kit. If you have not yet received these program materials, please reach out to Justice and I, let us know, and we'll look into it for you and make sure that you get those program materials. Within the program kit, the recycling scorecard is there. It's a laminated scorecard. We've also provided some write and wipe markers, and so that they can be reusable from day to day. And what you'll do is you'll distribute these recycling scorecards and markers to each of the classrooms in your school so they can each participate. And so what's going to happen is that first and foremost in the classroom, the students will collect and count the beverage containers that have been handed in by their classmates. They will then count how many of each type of beverage container has been collected and recorded on their recycling scorecard. And then they will deliver the recyclable beverage containers to the recycling station that you have established in a central location within your school. And so the MOO crew will be waiting for these classroom students to deliver these recyclable beverage containers. And so then the MOO crew takes over. And so the MOO crew is responsible for ensuring that the school is recycling right. And so what that means is emptying those leftover liquids, screwing on any caps, pushing in straws, and then disposing of those beverage containers in the accompanying recycling bin. So the MOO crew will also participate in tracking the school's efforts. So they will receive the scorecards from the classrooms. They'll record each classroom's totals on the weekly tracker. At the end of lunch, the MOO crew will then add up the totals for each type of beverage container to find the daily total. And so the daily total is the total that you're seeing here on the screen circled in green. So in this particular example, we're just pretending that it's on a Monday. If there are 9 classes in your school and each one of those classes has students drinking milk, essentially there will be 9 recycling scorecards that are going to be returned to your MOO crew at the recycling station, and then they will have sort of 9 numbers indicated for the milk cartons. And so there'll be 9 numbers essentially transferred from the recycling scorecards onto the weekly tracker. Likewise, if no one in the classroom has turned in a particular beverage container, so if nobody drinks glass bottles in a classroom, they won't have any number filled out in the glass bottle section on the recycling scorecard. And then there's no number for the MOO crew to then transfer to the weekly tracker. So this tracking process continues throughout the week, where the MOO crew is collecting the recycling totals from classrooms, then adding up the daily totals from each of the beverage containers. At the end of the week, the MOO crew will then add up the daily totals from each day for each beverage container, and then record the weekly total in that final column where you see the X's circled by the green. They will then hand in the weekly tracker to you, the milk coordinator, so that you can hang on to it for the next step of the process. This process for the classroom students, as well as the MOO crew, will repeat itself week by week, and they will truly get to know the process because it is something that they are practicing every day. And so then the next step in the process is for you, the milk coordinator. And so that is when it comes to submitting your school's data. So at the end of the month, you will submit your school's recycling data through our online portal. This is the same school login or registration that you use to complete your school's registration. But don't worry, you don't need to remember to do this. We will email you a reminder and let you know when it's time to submit your school's data. To keep things simple, we're just asking for milk carton data for each month. So we really only are asking for 2 numbers each month. That being said, a couple times throughout the year, we will be asking for your monthly data on all beverage containers just to see how things are going. And so you can find this data on the weekly trackers that your MOOC crew has handed in for you at the end of each week. So you should have 4 weekly trackers with the totals recorded for each week. And then you will basically just take the top total for your total milk cartons recycled and submit that data through the online portal for the total number of milk cartons recycled. For the total number of milk cartons ordered, what we mean by this is ordered by the school. This is really just to get an idea of how many cartons of milk were actually handed out in the school. And so the easiest way we could think of for you to do that is by either checking to see what quantity of milk cartons were ordered for the month, or you could check an invoice to see, again, what quantity of milk cartons you were invoiced or charged for the month. So we're trying to keep it as simple as possible. And again, mostly just asking for those 2 numbers every month. Okay, so your MOOC crew plays a really important role, obviously, in helping students to recycle right, as well as helping you to collect the recycling data for your school. Your school may already have a MOOC crew in place, or this may be something that you might need to set up in your school before starting the program. So I'd like to give you a bit of an overview of how the MOOC crew can help your school out with Recycle Right with Milk.
The MOOC crew will ensure your school recycles right. Recycle Right with Milk encourages students working together to develop better recycling habits while supporting the healthy habit of drinking milk. The MOOC crew at your school has a very important job and is a great opportunity to grow student leadership and responsibility. Students will look forward to being a MOOC crew member, helping their school community and the environment while acting as a role model for younger students. Before starting the program, the school's milk coordinator will recruit students to join the MOOC crew. This group of students can be volunteers or students from a particular grade. Daily MOOC crew tasks. Each day at lunch, the MOOC crew has 4 important tasks. 1. Recycle right. 2. Collect recycling scorecards. 3. Track school efforts. 4. Reset and repeat. Daily task 1. Recycle right. Each day at lunch, the MOOC crew will ensure all beverage containers are recycled right by confirming all beverage containers delivered by classroom students are indeed recyclable, emptying any leftover liquids into the provided pour station. This step is essential in avoiding contamination of recyclable materials and preventing them from going to waste. And before placing empty beverage containers into the recycling bin, the MOOC crew will ensure lids have been screwed on and straws have been pushed into their box. Daily task 2. Collect recycling scorecards. The MOOC crew will collect recycling scorecards delivered by classroom students. Working together as a school community towards the common goal of recovering beverage containers and ensuring they are recycled right is an important contribution to environmental responsibility and sustainability. Daily task 3. Track school efforts. The MOOC crew will track the school's recycling efforts by transferring the recycling totals from each classroom scorecard to the weekly tracker. And at the end of lunch, add up and record the day's total for each beverage container. Daily task 4. Reset and repeat. Recycling right is a daily practice for environmental sustainability. The The Moo Crew will clean the reusable scorecard and handheld bin and return them to the students to bring back to their classrooms for use the next day. And before returning to class, wash their hands. Weekly Moo Crew tasks. At the end of each week, the Moo Crew will be counted on to 1. Calculate the weekly total for each type of beverage container recycled. 2. Hand in the completed weekly tracker to the school's milk coordinator. 3. Prepare another weekly tracker for the following week. Weekly Task 1. Calculate weekly totals. At the end of each week, for each type of beverage container, the Moo Crew will add up the daily totals and record the number in the weekly total column. Weekly Task 2. Hand in weekly tracker. The Moo Crew will hand in the completed weekly tracker to the school's milk coordinator. Weekly Task 3. Prepare a new weekly tracker. The Moo Crew will prepare another weekly tracker for the following week by writing in the next week's dates. In addition to ensuring beverage containers are recycled right and tracking schools' recycling efforts, your Moo Crew can also get involved in other aspects of running Recycle Right with Milk, such as handing out milk and celebrating your school's recycling success that they've helped track. The school's Moo Crew is a big deal. They are the key to success for your Recycle Right with Milk program. Let's work together to recycle right with milk.
Okay, so your Moo Crew is a very important part of the Recycle Right with Milk program. And we really hope that they will be helpful in sharing the responsibilities that you have as the milk coordinator. So in terms of who the Moo Crew is, you can do it a couple of different ways, whatever way you think will work best in your school. We do know that a lot of schools already have Moo Crews, or perhaps an informal Moo Crew where there's a designated group of students. So either like the grade 4 students or the grade 5 students who are responsible for the milk program in their school. So they may already have various responsibilities. Adding the Recycle Right with Milk responsibilities to those tasks certainly be a simple way to add on to the Moo Crew that is existing. If you don't have an existing Moo Crew, you can absolutely put one together. We would recommend that you definitely promote the team in your school, make it sound like something that is, exciting to be a part of, something that students will look forward to be a part of. So it's a neat opportunity. Hopefully they'll want to sign up for it. So we're really asking for students to sign up to be volunteers. And then responsible students will be selected to be on the Moo Crew. And then again, it's a big deal if you've been selected to be on the Moo Crew. Once you've established your Moo Crew, you would then, of course, host an orientation to let students know what their roles and responsibilities will be when it comes to Recycle Right with Milk. The video that you just saw would be something that you could use as part of your orientation. We do have another tool, which I will show you shortly, that you could also help to explain the Moo Crew tasks to them in a little bit more detail. What I would recommend doing once you've established your Moo Crew is creating a rotating schedule so that you don't have the same students every day working at the recycling station. Have a rotating schedule of a couple of students each day. And then again, once they get to know their role, each time it's their turn to take a turn at the recycling station, it should run fairly smoothly. Of course, because the Moo Crew plays such an important role in your Recycle Right with Milk program, please acknowledge their contribution as being something that's really important to your school community. We have provided a very small token of our appreciation in your program kit, and that is some reusable straws for you to hand out specifically to your Moo Crew members. And so the third most important part of establishing Recycle Right with Milk in your school is, of course, communicating the program. We know that this is a new program for you. It's also a new program for your students as well as the entire school. So it's important to share the information that you learned here today that you think would be helpful for them to know what to expect and how to participate in the Recycle Right with Milk program. So we have included the 3 posters in your milk program kit. So definitely put those posters up around the school in addition to the one at your recycling station. Definitely work with your administration staff to share electronic information with parents about the program. Let them know what you're doing in your school, and also remind them that you have milk available in the school. And then finally, share the program materials like the videos that I've shared with you. These are all available on our website, and we hope that they will be good communication tools between you and other staff members as well as the students. So let's check out the final video. It's about the classroom tasks. And this is a good one to share with classroom teachers so that they understand how their class will be participating in Recycle Right Milk.
Classroom participation is important to keep the recycling process flowing at your school. Recycle Right with Milk encourages students working together to develop better recycling habits while supporting the healthy habit of drinking milk. How classrooms assign and rotate student tasks is completely up to your school. Each day at lunch, classroom tasks include 1. Collecting recyclable beverage containers. 2. Recording recycling efforts. 3. Delivering beverage containers to the recycling station. And 4. Repeating the process each day. Task 1. Collecting beverage containers. Near the end of lunch, students working on this task will be responsible for collecting all recyclable beverage containers. These students will also remind classmates to screw on bottle caps or push straws into their drinking box before turning them in. Task 2. Record recycling efforts. Once all beverage containers have been collected, students will sort and count them. Using the provided recycling scorecard, students will record the number of each type of beverage container collected. Task 3. Deliver beverage containers to the recycling station. Using a handheld bin, students will take the beverage containers and scorecard to a common recycling area. The school's MOOC crew will be at the recycling station to dispose of any leftover liquids and place beverage containers in the recycling bin. Emptying leftover liquids is an essential step to avoid contamination of other recyclable materials and prevent them from going to waste. The MOOC crew will be tracking the school's recycling efforts using information found on each classroom's scorecard. Students will return to the classroom with a clean and empty handheld bin and scorecard. Task 4. Repeat each day. Students will repeat this daily practice each day and develop the habit of recycling right. Let's work together to recycle right with milk.
Okay, so similar to how you will create a rotating schedule for your MOOC crew, teachers will also want to do the same thing for students in their classroom. And so then assigning a couple of students each day to take on the responsibility for volunteering for Recycle Right with Milk in their classroom. And once students understand their roles, this will likely become like a new shared responsibility, like classroom duties that are already currently assigned. And so this video can be shared with staff, students, or your MOOC crew, but there's also a couple of one-page resources which outline the classroom tasks as well as the MOOC crew tasks. So really this is just an at-a-glance list of the tasks that each of these groups of students will be doing. We have included a paper copy, one copy in each of your program kits. You can also download an electronic copy of this resource, which you can share electronically with teachers, or you could print them out and share them that way as well. And so celebrating success. As a school, students will work together to recycle right. At the end of every month, if the school successfully recycles 80% or more of its milk cartons, you will know this by submitting your school's recycling data. We recommend acknowledging this accomplishment by doing an activity that aims to promote recycling initiatives in a fun and engaging way in your school. If you'd like, you can use the digital spin wheel as a fun way to determine what activity your school will be doing to celebrate your success. We will share a link to access that digital spin wheel after the first month of participation. So some of the suggested activities that you see here on the screen are outlined in more detail within your program manual. These are really just suggestions. We'd encourage you to use activities that your school enjoys and may already be familiar with from past school milk program initiatives like Milk Spirit Week. I do want to acknowledge that we understand schools are very busy. There's a lot going on. And so if the frequency of celebrating on a monthly basis does not feel like it will be realistic for your school, we encourage you to figure out a schedule that would work well for your school. Schedule as well as an activity, whatever you think would be the best way to celebrate and acknowledge your school's success. And we look forward to hearing how you guys have decided to celebrate success in your particular school. And so just want to remind everybody that this is a pilot program. So it means we're testing the program. We realize that setting up the program will take some effort because this is a new program for you as well as your school. So there will be a learning and adjustment period. We definitely understand that. But ideally, once everyone learns their role, the program should run fairly smoothly. In terms of the start date for the program, we have identified not this coming Monday, but the following Monday, so November 28th, as the program launch date. If anyone is anxious about this date, I want you to know that it is flexible. We want you to take the time that you need to feel comfortable establishing the program in your school, and we are here to help you along the way if you need help with that. In terms of some next steps that you'll be looking at to get it established in your school, if you haven't already done so, perhaps you've looked through the manual and you've already gotten a head start. But some next steps you'll want to be looking at is, of course, sharing the program with your school so that they know what to expect. You'll definitely want to communicate with your custodian about your new recycling equipment, as well as work with them to find a central location for your recycling station within the school. Of course, you're going to need to work with the classroom teachers to introduce the program to their students. They can do that using the video I showed you. They're going to need to create a rotating volunteer student schedule and communicate that to their students. And then, of course, determine what will be used as a handheld bin to deliver those recyclable beverage containers to your recycling station. As we mentioned, establishing a MOO crew is a really important part of this project. So that'll be something that you'll definitely need to look into sooner rather than later. Sort of once you're almost ready to go, distributing the recycling scorecards as well as the white and white markers to the classrooms as a signal that this program will be starting up soon, and as their program materials to work with throughout the year. If you need more of those program materials, we have electronic copies on our website, but you can also contact us and we could send you more as well. And then finally, promoting the program to families. That's an important part. I think it's something to celebrate that you are taking on recycling initiatives in your school, as well as letting them know that you have milk, which is a nutritious choice, available in your school. So you can use the electronic parent information sheet that is available on our website to do that. And then when you're ready to go, launch the program. So I want to acknowledge our project partners, Recycle Everywhere and the Carton Council of Canada. Without their support and assistance, we would not have been able to make this project possible. So we want to sincerely thank them for their partnership. If you need any additional information and resources, feel free to check out our website at recyclerightwithmilk.ca. But as I mentioned, Justice and I are here to be your personal assistants and help you out with the program. So don't be a stranger, feel free to reach out to us. We know that change can be hard, but it is really exciting, and we're really excited to start this journey with you guys. We want to thank you for joining us today, for being open to a new way of learning and doing things. And thank you especially for your commitment to your school community. We know this is a big deal, and it's taking on probably on top of what your additional role is in the school. So if you have any questions, or if you need any help, or even just want to talk through some ideas about the program, if you want to talk about maybe some flexible ways of doing it for your school, we're definitely open to that. As I mentioned, this is a pilot, so we're testing it out. You know, what works for your school might not work for another school, or vice versa. So we are also open to different ways of knowing and doing things. So if you have any concerns, I just want to make sure that you feel comfortable reaching out to us. We definitely want to make sure that this is a two-way street. So on the screen, we have given you our School Milk Program email address. We also have our phone number there if you need to contact us. You also have my direct email as well as my direct phone number from the link that I sent you today to watch the webinar. So you can feel free to reach out to me directly as well. I'm just going to take a quick peek at the Q&A and see if there's any questions that we weren't able to address. It looks like we were able to address most of them. This webinar has been recorded, so it will be available to watch again. I'm going to hopefully have it sent out within the next day or so, so that you can watch it, and so that everyone else who wasn't able to join us today can also watch it. If you have any other questions, like I said, feel free to reach out, and we are happy to help you along the way. So that brings us to the end of today's presentation. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being part of the program. And I hope that you guys all have a great rest of your day. Take care.